This week, Poshmark announced a feature that could change the way we use Poshmark forever.
Yeah, it is all everyone is talking about, and it is Poshmark promoted listings. We have some very strong feelings about it, which we will get to. We want to go through everything that is released so far, which is admittedly not very much, but we have some information. And then we're going to go through some conspiracy theories at the end, which I have my handy dandy hat for that, so stick around till the end.
Yes. So I want to address the elephant in the room before we get into all of our thoughts on this juicy topic. Our camera. So we look different today, and I want to know... Hopefully. And I want to know what you guys think. So we want you to be honest. Leave us comments below on whether or not this video looks better to you, feels better to you. You don't have to know why, none of that. But just, does it look better to you? We want to know. We make these videos for you, and we want to make sure that the viewing experience is as good as it can be. And admittedly, we realized they weren't doing so good. So Let us know. That will be really, really helpful. And even if you like it or you never had a problem with it at all, let us know that too. It really helps us know what people are thinking when they watch these videos.
It's the worst thing in the world to have like something in your teeth and then no one tell you all day. So please tell us what we can do to make this a better experience.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into this. Promoted listings, promoted closets. What is it? How did we find out about it? What's going on? We're going to give you all of the details. So Poshmark released a blog this past week letting us know that there is a new beta program for something called Promoted Closets. And this is what Poshmark says it is. Introducing Promoted Closet, a new beta feature for US sellers to increase the visibility of their listings to millions of shoppers on Poshmark. This beta program is part of our ongoing efforts to empower sellers with more tools to make sales and grow their businesses. With Promoted Closet, your listings will become eligible for promotion in prominent locations across search results and brand pages, and you'll be able to see how well your promoted listings are doing with access to performance insights.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah, it was a lot.
That was a lot. All right, so, I mean, Promoted has existed on other platforms in the past, so this is nothing new. They've mentioned possibly going to promotions at times in the past, so this has been on their radar, but this is still very big news. How exactly do people qualify?
There is going to be a link in the blog post where you can sign up to become part of Promoted Closets, but what they say is they are going to start with the largest closet first, and they are then going to roll out this beta program gradually to more and more people so that they can get the biggest subset of listings to test this on.
Yeah, I think that makes sense from a testing standpoint. You want to have as few people as possible up front to then work out all of the problems. Now, in the blog, they did mention that they are anxious to get this out as fast as humanly possible, which is concerning to me. They did also then mention that their priority is to make sure that it is functionally sound before they do that. And whether or not you believe that depends on your previous experience with Poshmark. And some of us have mixed feelings about that.
Yes, and remember, Poshmark has done beta programs in the past. We have Posh Lives, which are still technically currently in beta. They did release recently that they're going to be wide, but they are still in beta. I still don't have access. So it has been quite a long time for them to be in beta. And with Lives, there is some people that feel left out and feel like they aren't able to make the sales that people that use Lives do because they don't have access to that feature. I think that might be a similar thing with this beta, but we'll have to wait and see on that.
I would be very surprised if it wasn't, given that it is by its very nature supposed to improve and facilitate additional sales.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are.
So let's talk about what is out there about how this actually works. And admittedly, there is nothing official from Poshmark yet because we have not been accepted into the beta yet, so we can't see exactly what Poshmark is showing. But we did some digging and we found some information.
So we found a couple things. We found a Reddit post and a Facebook post, and both of them, it seems like they are confirming the other's account of how the program is working so far.
Yes. So let's start with the Reddit post because it's pretty simple and straightforward. So it says, how does this work? Listings from your closet will automatically be promoted to shoppers based on how closely they match a shopper's search and your weekly budget. When a shopper clicks on one of your promoted listings, they are taken to that listing's detail page. And then it says what listings can be promoted. All listings marked as for sale in your closet may be promoted as shoppers search for them. We cannot guarantee that every listing will be promoted as it is dependent on if shoppers are searching for items similar to yours. You do not need to specify which listings from your closet to promote. For example, if you have 100 listings marked as for sale in your closet, all 100 will be eligible for promotion and will appear at shoppers search for items similar to yours.
Okay, so it's a buy your account So the Facebook post is very similar to that. They stated that you're going to have to also set a weekly budget, and all of your items are going to be eligible for promotion, and whatever people are searching for is the item that is then promoted to them. What that means is that every item in your closet is eligible to be promoted, and then whatever people are searching for with hopes to buy will be then put in their face as a promoted listing, which I do like the idea of having a brand that, or an item that somebody is actively looking for right in front of their face. Yes. I do very much believe in.
Yes. Now, they do go a little bit further in the Facebook post and kind of narrow down exactly how this is going to work. And they say each listing would be assigned a click rate depending on style, brand, desire, etc. Wherever the listing is promoted on or off the platform, if someone clicks on the listing, then that closet will be charged. You set up a weekly budget that you are willing to spend. It will not replace sharing your closet. That will still be beneficial. So it's going to work on click rate. So that means that anytime that your item appears in a search and a shopper clicks on it just to view the listing, you will be charged for that click. It doesn't mean that you will be charged when the item sells. Your item could be clicked on 1,000 times before the item sells, and you will be charged for each click along the way.
I think that is an important distinction versus a pay per result. So paying a fee once the item has sold is vastly different than paying anytime someone looks at your item without purchasing, because there are valid reasons why someone would click on your item and then not make a purchase that can cost you significant money.
Yes, and we will talk about that more when we get to our thought section. But we want to show you how it's looking now. Now remember, this is a beta program, so this means that things are going to be iterated, adjusted, they're going to respond to our feedback, I hope. So this is not how it's going to end up, again, I hope. But we want to show you how it's looking right now. So there is a Facebook post right now that is talking about how this looks. I do not have promoted listings on my feed at all. What that means, it means that it is being rolled out. So I don't know if they're rolling it out the same way they're rolling out the beta program, but the actual promoted listings are also being rolled out. You may have it on your feed right now. I do not. But this person did, and they did a search for vintage Sears. And they looked through the results, and the items that were listed as promoted, which shows up as a gray box in the bottom left of the listing, were not relevant to their search. What seems to be happening is the promoted listing is finding any word that matches your search, and it is promoting that. In this case, it found the word vintage, and it promoted listings that matched vintage, even though Sears was not at all relevant to the search. That is a little concerning.
That is problematic, because my concern there is that could very well lead to one of the costs that will not result in a sale, is somebody looking at your item and saying, that's not really what I had in mind. Let's click on it just to make sure. Click on it, they charge you money. So if it is not a relevant item and it still shows up, curiosity is going to cost you money, and people are going to be clicking on that just to make sure that it's not what they're looking for and backing out immediately.
Can I make a confession? So if I see on eBay, for example, an item that shows up as promoted that is so wildly out of range, right? I'm looking for a Bowden 3/4 sleeve dress, and I come up with a Burberry trench coat. I just want to know why. I want to know, did the person keyword stuff? Was there something close to my search term in the description somewhere? Do they have an accidental Bowden photo somewhere? What's going on?
You want to know why.
I need to know.
The need for why is very real.
So I, the person who does that, would charge you money as the seller of the item that got promoted into my search that had nothing to do with that. So those are concerns with how it's looking now, but I think we have to address the problem that we're all thinking about and no one is addressing, the search algorithm.
This search for Poshmark has not been the same since they messed with it, and they either can't because they don't know how, or they're unwilling to go back to the old model.
Now, this is going to add to a conspiracy theory that I have in the future. So stay tuned, because I have a conspiracy theory about why they would do this.
With the search, how it looks currently, this promoted is not a viable option, because it is going to just provide anything that is not really related, but that they can justify being promoted into the search, and it's going to feed in, and you're going to have a lot of misclicks with people not having any intention of purchasing, is my concern given the current search algorithm debacle.
Additionally, with the search the way it is right now, people are frustrated, right? You can see that anywhere. You can look in the comment sections of Instagram, you can look at Facebook, people are mad because they type in something and they're not getting what they're looking for. Now let's add in promoted listings on top of that are not quite refined to what they need to be. I get it, it's a beta program, but you are now burying listings that could have been relevant in a already really messed up search. It's going to cause a bad shopper experience, and we are already in a world where people are pretty frustrated with Poshmark, so it's very concerning. I really wish that they had solved the algorithm problem before they announced this. I feel like we would be a lot more receptive, but yes, that is a concern. But we have thoughts.
We have some very strong thoughts.
Let's get into them.
So if I was Poshmark and I was designing a promotion feature that would help my bottom line, then yes, I would do a pay for click, because that anytime someone clicks on it, I make some money, regardless of if the sale goes through. The flip side of that is, if I were a user actively and I was looking for a helpful tool to use for reselling, I would design it exactly the opposite. So I think there's a conflicting set of principles here, resellers versus Poshmark.
I would agree with that. I think we need to discuss the fees. Poshmark is already twice as expensive as other platforms. Poshmark's rate right now is 20%, and also $2.95 for items under $15.
Which is significantly higher than 20%. So you already are losing out compared to Mercari, compared to eBay, compared to any other reselling platform that I can think of. There's not a single one of them other than Poshmark that is at 20%. Now, to be fair to Poshmark, you are paying a premium for the convenience in certain aspects. You're paying a premium for the convenience of the shipping. You're paying a premium because it's literally just slap a label on and you're done. That is a worthwhile thing. But to then add to that margin, you have to make your platform better. You can't just start charging people money.
Right. So essentially, I don't want to pay a premium for a function that you guys have not perfected. I'm very sorry. I'm just not willing to do that. I just think that is crazy. But I think we might be forced to.
I think to not lose out to other resellers, it's going to be a mandatory thing. And if you are not part of the promoted listings at some point in the future, your items are going to be
buried,
essentially suppressed, because other people are being promoted above you and yours are just getting drowned out in the wash.
And if you look at it from a business perspective, of course they're going to bury you, because they're going to make money off of the people that are promoted. They want those listings seen more and more and more because they're getting money off of those clicks. They don't care if people buy them. They care if people click on them.
To me, the second big issue here for Poshmark charging an additional fee is that they have a much more limited audience than a lot of the selling platforms. Well, specifically eBay. eBay is a global presence. You can sell to anyone across the world, with the exception of used clothing to Mexico, which we've done a video. It's a crime. You will go to jail. You have access to millions and millions of more shoppers. Yes, the price point is not always there on eBay, but you have a much wider net, and you're paying for that already established network at a lower rate anyway. So even with promotions, you're still ahead of Poshmark by and large for the fee for a bigger pool of people to purchase.
Also, one of the things I did want to mention is the fact that eBay gives you the option to choose whether or not you want to do pay per click or pay for sale. So essentially, if your item sells on eBay and it is sold by... Essentially, if your item is sold on eBay via a promoted listing, you would be charged the fee for whatever promotion you decided to promote it at. Now, this is the way that I choose to go about having my listings promoted, because I really don't want to pay every time someone is just kind of checking out my listing. I really only want to pay when the item is selling. So I really think that is a valuable way to do that. Poshmark isn't giving us that option. But to go further with that, if they're gonna do pay per click, I think that one of the issues that I have with this personally is that items that are already popular items, that are highly searched items, trendy items, are going to pop up in the search results anyways. And now Poshmark is getting a cut every time someone clicks on a listing that they probably would have clicked on anyways. And that seems really frustrating to me. And I don't get a choice on saying, you know what, this is a trendy Taylor Swift cardigan that is absolutely going to sell. I'm not promoting that because that's what I would do on eBay. But on Poshmark, I would have to accept it, and it could eat up my weekly budget because everyone just wants to see this really cool Taylor Swift cardigan that they wanted to just see.
I think that is my biggest problem or takeaway from this, is that not having the ability to dictate which items are promoted so that you can try to sell those less desirable items more effectively versus having items that are promoted that are going to sell regardless. If you have a pair of mother jeans, they're going to sell. If you
don't need to promote
if
those.
you have certain items, they don't need to be promoted, and you don't get that choice with the current version.
And I don't want Poshmark deciding what needs to be promoted and what doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean there, but I just feel like I really have a better pulse on what items I need promoted and what items I don't, and I would like to have control over that. So for me, that is the biggest problem. Now, before I get into conspiracy theories, I know he's chomping at the bit for that, I did want to say I do have some thoughts about how this is being rolled out and a little bit of concerns. So as with Posh Lives, this is being rolled out little by little, and it could take a lot of time before it gets to everyone. My issue here is that means that there are going to be people that have promoted listings where some people do not have access to that feature at all, and I have a feeling that that means a lot of listings are going to be buried. This is going to happen in a not uniform way, and it's not in the best form that this may end up. So you're going to see people getting buried in searches that maybe they wouldn't even be buried in because the promotion is not working very well right now. So if you don't have access to it, you're going to be below the not even relevant promoted listings. It's concerning to me, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I think that is a fair concern. To be worried that your sales are going to be significantly down, while your sales may go back to normal or even improve, it's going to then, at some point, once the beta is ended, eat into your margin so that you're having to make more sales to make the same money, which is just a problem.
So that is really concerning. Those are our thoughts, but we have conspiracy theories. You know we love them on this channel, and I think we should get into those. So can you get your hat out? Do you want to start with your first conspiracy theory?
So my conspiracy theory is that Poshmark very much doesn't care about the sellers, and they're looking to make their bottom line whatever it needs to be. So that could be Naver, that could be Poshmark, that could be a combination of the two. They don't care about the reselling community. They don't care about the person on the other line. They're looking at a way to monetize people being on the platform.
You mean their sticky cohort?
Their sticky cohort, the people that are already on the platform because they require sharing. They're wanting more people to window shop so that they can collect an additional fee.
I don't even know if that's a conspiracy theory. I think that might be a fact.
That's a fact. It's a fact. It's not a conspiracy theory.
I have a conspiracy theory. You want me to get spicy?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. So I think we can all agree that our sales have gone down. Maybe we can insert a picture of my sales this year versus last year. They have dropped exponentially. Okay? And I have a conspiracy theory that was intentional. I have a conspiracy theory that what has happened is Poshmark has rolled out promoted listings to enterprise sellers in, I don't know if it's in the same format, I don't know if it's the same cost, but essentially I think that they quietly rolled this out to enterprise sellers, and we had all been experiencing what we're calling burying of listings underneath these enterprise sellers. As we all know, enterprise sellers are closets like Free People, Levi's, other places like that have tens of thousands of listings. They're just enormous. And I think that it's possible they have buried us because they were promoting those listings above ours, and our closets were not being seen, and we couldn't see that. They didn't have the little button on it, and they had a light bulb moment and said, wait a minute, we can charge sellers to have this feature as well, and we can get money to get them sales back to normal, essentially, put them back in the playing field with these enterprise sellers.
To add to that, I expect that the enterprise sellers have worked out a more favorable than 20% cut.
Because they're making them more money.
They are making them significantly more money, and they may very well not even have to pay for the promotions because they clearly don't have the same sharing requirements. They clearly show up at the top regardless of all other factors. So I already think that they're getting priority promoted presence on the platform, and that is suppressing regular people's sales. Yeah. And that's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah, and to wrap up my conspiracy theory, I don't think that promoted listings are going to be a benefit to us over last year. I think it's going to get us back on level to where we were before, and we're going to be so happy that we just happen to have the same sales that we used to have, that we didn't have to pay extra money for, that Poshmark thinks we're going to just be thrilled. But really, they just put us back in the game. That's all that happened.
The trap has sprung, and it's just tightened down, and you're just happy for that little bit of notch back out to normal.
Yeah. That's my conspiracy theory. Again, I want to be clear, that is a conspiracy theory. There is no foundation for that. That is just how I personally feel. But do you have any others?
So I don't have any other conspiracies, but I do have a couple other things that I want to touch on. So let me put the hat away.
Bye-bye, conspiracy hat.
So what I want to talk about are a couple things. The first being, what would a perfect promotion system look like to us? Because I think they will be different between the two of us. I think we both have different ideas for how that would work. So for me, for a perfect system, it is going to be very much like the eBay model, where it's essentially a commission on the sale. So it's conditional for an additional percentage that you have to pay to Poshmark for the item selling from a promotion.
My love is conditional. I'm sorry, I had to get it out. I had to. I was screaming in my head. Sorry.
That is probably the single biggest issue that I have, is if they were able to do that, then yes. The second part would be choosing and being able to dictate either the amount of the promotion or which items are being promoted. Just having a little bit of flexibility to have a little bit more control. Those are the two things that are the biggest sticking points for me.
I can see that. I think mine would be slightly different. So for me personally, and I think I mentioned this on a previous video, but personally, my ideal world would be that we had a flat fee where we were able to promote whatever listings we choose to in our closet at a flat rate every single month. So maybe we pay $50 a month or $100 a month, or I don't know what the price would be, but then we would be able to promote listings that we choose to promote at whatever rate we choose to promote them. And I do think it would be perfectly okay for Poshmark to say that there is a limit on how much you can do per month in order to keep that playing field level, like they always say they want to do. So I can't just, promote 1,000 listings where somebody else may only have 500 in their closet and I am now burying them. I think that might be okay, but I think really a flat fee so that we're not having this crazy uptick of just every little transaction is being charged and I don't get to choose what listings it would be.
What about a percentage of your closet? So you can only promote half or 3/4 or 25% of your closet so that there's a little bit of playing.
There just has to be a better way. But I think you guys might have some really great ideas. So I think you should leave those in the comments below and we can all brainstorm in the comments, and from there, I'll make a decision on something we can send to that email address for feedback to let Poshmark know what we think and how we think this could be made better. Because frankly, I think there might be value in promoted listings if done correctly and if the search algorithm works the way it's intended to work. But I think that there needs to be some iterations, and this is the time to tell them while they're making those changes.
I think that's fair. I do have two last things that I wanted to mention. And this is never going to happen. Poshmark will never give in on this, but they very much need to consider dropping that 20% to be more in line with every other platform. If they want to charge more, then they have to either perform better or provide some reason for that additional cost, because currently they are not doing that. And the only way that promotions would work now is if they drop that to be more competitive and then allow that to improve your sales.
Yes, because let's be honest, if Poshmark keeps feeing everyone to death, Poshmark is going to die because there's going to be no margin left for sellers to sell items. It'll literally be a collection of enterprise sellers offloading what they have, and there'll be no room for resellers. And that's a really scary, morbid thought, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah. My second point, and this is a call to action, I would like people to just flat out refuse. If everyone in the community could just say, nope, not doing it. Poshmark, this is a terrible idea. You're doing a straight money grab. You're being greedy, and this is awful. If no one uses it and says that and uses very choice language in that submission for their email for feedback, then they might think twice about this. But if people just cave, if people just say, well, I will do it and everyone else will take care of having them kill it, then it's going to fail and we're all going to be stuck paying higher fees forever.
Well, that is a horrible thought to end on. So what I would like to end on is, while the beta program is free, please sign up for the beta program and give them feedback. Let them know what you like, what you don't like. Be honest, be open. But yes, if they decide to keep going the way they're going and they keep the fee the way it is, absolutely boycott this. We can be the change in Poshmark if we all band together. But right now, it is a beta and it is free, so make sure you use this opportunity to use your voice and use it loudly. That is what I'm asking of you. This isn't the first time that we have spoken out on Poshmark and said the changes we would like to see, and if you want to see more changes that we have asked of Poshmark for, click the link on the screen here.